What's up, people? Back at you again with another Moralities Moment. This is my next vid in my video series entitled Listen, Learn, Live. This morning's note says, ask questions, probe, study, and seek answers, but do not become or be arrogant because of your knowledge. Take counsel from those who are educated and those who are uneducated, for no one has ever attained perfection of competence or acquired full mastery. Good advice is rarer than diamonds that may be found even among the poorest and least educated. First thing I want to start off saying, I know we all know somebody that think they know it all, and then because they think they know so much, they feel like people are beneath them, you know, and that's sad, because again, as I just said in the statement, nobody's ever mastered, perfection, or nobody's perfect. And I feel like when a person think they know it all and can't nobody tell them nothing, guess what? They didn't just cap their potential. But the first thing I want you to know, and it's here in my note, is the only dumb or stupid question is the one that doesn't get asked. It ain't no such thing as a dumb question. If you want to know something, you're going to have to ask a question, which leads me to my next point. It says, in order to know something that you don't know, in all likelihood, you're going to have to ask probing questions to get an understanding. I mean, if you don't know something and you need to know it, how else are you going to find out if you don't ask questions? But again, you have to seek out wise advice. And as I said in my note, good advice is rarer than diamonds. So with that being said, I know you heard me say it before, be careful who you seeking advice from. Yeah, I know I said in my statement, that you could get advice from the educated as well as the uneducated. But when I say be careful who you get your information from or advice from, everybody motives ain't above board. Some people will tell you something just to get what they want out of the situation or get what they want out of you. So therefore they have an underlying agenda of telling you what they want. Be careful, be discerning of that person's bias, because again, everybody ain't your friend, and everybody don't have your better interests at heart. My next note says, but here's the thing about acquiring knowledge. Don't let it go to your head. Don't let it go to your head. Stay humble and use discretion with what you know. Don't let your knowledge and your wisdom go to your head. Stay humble, and again, use discretion with what it is, with what knowledge that you have. Because again, my next note says, everything you know ain't for everybody, because being perfectly honest, 95% of the people really can't handle the truth. At least that's my experience. 95% of the people really can't handle the truth. People always tell me the truth, but then when you tell the truth hurts, or they have some, they getting their feelings, they getting their emotions. But again, that's knowledge, that's wisdom. People want to know the truth, and you ask questions. Be prepared for what you might receive when you ask those questions. Because ultimately, I think about when we go before God and pray to God for God to give us understanding or reveal stuff to us. You know what the biggest problem is? It's not that God ain't answering your prayers. Chances are God is answering your prayers, but because it ain't what you want to hear, you don't think that's God, because you can't handle the truth. But again, always put yourself in a position to learn. As this vid series says, listen, learn, and live. Because again, like I say, life is always teaching every single day, from the most educated person to the least educated person. But my next note says, don't think more highly of yourselves than you are. Even the Bible tells us that man shouldn't boast about himself. You shouldn't boast about yourself, because again, ain't nobody perfect. See, what happens to people that boast about themselves and they exalt themselves, making themselves out to be something that they not. People sit around and they wait for you to make a mistake. And then when you make that mistake, then first thing they say, see what I'm saying? Don't stay humble. It's not that you should care what people say, but just think, when make sure again that the talk you're talking, your walk lines up with it. Because I often think about Jesus. You know, everybody that hung around Jesus didn't like Jesus. They hung around Jesus just to wait to find issue with what he was doing. As soon as they found an issue with something he said or did, then they start running their mouth. Same premise with us in life. You know, again, this is being wise. You know, get some education, listen, learn, and live. You know, everybody that hang around you, they ain't really hanging around you cause they like you. Chances are, some of them in your crowd, they probably just hanging around just to be your Judas. You know, be your Judas. You know, check your circle, check your crowd. If Jesus walked around doing all the good that he did, and some of us walking around doing what we perceive to be good, don't ever think it ain't a Judas in your camp. You know, it's always somebody in your camp that'll throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. If it come between you and them, guess what? You out of here. But again, that's wisdom. You heard me say it before, but life is always teaching, and even a fool or a poor person the poorest person you know can teach you something again. Don't discredit people just because they might not be where you at in life, because you can learn something from everybody. You know, even you can learn stuff from kids. You know, a lot of the lessons I've learned in life, the best lessons have been from me observing the way kids act and what kids do. Those are some of the best, you know, experiences or learning lessons that I've gotten out of life, by learning something or paying attention to how kids, you know, act or what they do or what they say, you know. So I don't think that I'm beyond above learning from people, you know, but again, I'm just discerning on where I get my advice from, because again, like I said, I know good advice is rarer than diamonds. But this is what I want to wrap with. People. I'm not saying the education and it's no use for it or nothing like that, but here's my thought: degrees and all are all fine, but without common sense, you're just walking around with your head in the clouds, out of touch with reality. You know, again, ain't nothing wrong with obtaining higher education, but again, degrees don't mean nothing, you know, if you don't have common sense. You know, and if you ain't got common sense and you got all those degrees, chances are, just like I said, you're thinking more highly of yourself and you're out of touch with reality. But I'm gonna wrap with this. You know, again, don't think more highly of yourself than you are. You know, the next time somebody that you feel is beneath you, you know, don't discount what they gotta say. You know, because like I said, you know, good advice is rarer than diamonds. And you know, and to find a diamond, well, you have to go through some stuff. You know, diamonds ain't something you just find on the surface. You know, you got to dig deep to find a diamond. But what I'm saying here is, don't discount what somebody that you perceive to be beneath you has to say, because that just might be the nugget that you need to save your life. So with that being said, listen, learn, and live. Hope you enjoyed this morning's morality moment. Peace, and I'm out.